Okay. This is not going to be a normal video from me. And the main reason for that is because the other videos on this channel are, statistically speaking, a clarinet quartet between 1 and 2 minutes long, recorded and mixed on Audacity, and uploaded 3 years ago. So this is the first one where it's kind of just like me talking, but this is going to be kind of a rant, not really rant, event. I have my little fidget snap bracelet here. So if that clicks, that's know why. Basically, so I want to talk about music school, being a music major, and so basically, if you're watching this, either you found it on YouTube recommended to you, or I know you in real life and I sent this. And so if I know you in real life, I want to kind of get into the process of describing just the kind of undercurrent of dread that is kind of like constantly in my brain. And this is specifically has to do with writing music. And the fact that I can't write music anymore. So something changed in around 2023. I know you're thinking, that's 3 years ago. You're right, that's 3 years ago. Something changed in 2023. But let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to where everything started. I started writing music in 2019. I was a ninth grader, 14 years old, just young and spry and full of ideas and full of confidence, really. That's a joke. First year of high school, first year of marching band, world was my oyster. And I found it upon myself one day to download MuseScore, and it wasn't really like, I've always thought I wanted to be a composer or something. Like, no, I just downloaded MuseScore one day and then started to write stuff. And so my very first piece was a piece called A Rapid Ride, and it's a piece in 7/8 time signature, written for clarinet, recorder, bari sax, and snare drum, specifically a snare drum rim shot. Okay, it doesn't actually ever hit the actual snare. And that's it. That's the piece, and it's like a minute to minute and a half in length. And that was it. That was the first thing I wrote, and I liked it. And it wasn't like in that moment I realized that I wanted to be a composer. That didn't happen. God, I'm annoying. And so basically, I emailed that to my band director because I was like, I want to hear what you think. And he was like, this is pretty good. It wasn't very good. It's not a very good piece. So basically, I kind of just kept doing it. I realized, I speak English, and one day you realize, I can write down words and I can write stuff. I can write an essay or I can write a poem or something. Same thing with music. It's like I had been playing clarinet since the 4th grade. I had been interested in music. It's kind of a language that I speak in, and so it just made sense to start writing in it, right? Just the natural progression. And so I kept writing stuff. Did a bunch of little projects here and there. Had a lot of things I didn't know how to do. Like I tried to write a band arrangement of a song from Super Mario Maker 2, and like I didn't know how to do any of this, but I was just doing it anyway, and it was kind of bad, but it was fun. It was nice. It was neat. It was just like something to do, right? And I kind of got more ambitious. It ended up resulting in me writing a piece called Forest Quartet, which was a name suggested by a mentor of mine. And the piece is for clarinet quartet, 4 movements. It's funny, each movement is like longer than the next, and so the 4th movement is like twice as long as the first movement. But yeah, that was the very first piece that I wrote, and I didn't know anything about theory. I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know anything. I just was like, I'm going to write stuff. And it's kind of fun looking back at that stuff now, because now I know things and I could say, oh, wait, like I was writing a minor 4-to-1 progression and I had no idea. I was just like, no, just wanted it to sound nice. And that was the first piece that I kind of shared with people to kind of see what they thought. This mentor of mine, who will go anonymous for now, was the person who taught me to play the bassoon. And he emailed that to a colleague who was a clarinet player and gave me some tips. And so that was kind of like my first time I ever showed a piece to someone who was a composer, who had that kind of aspiration as well. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, right? I still wasn't like, I want to do this in college, because for me in high school, I was definitely the kind of person to be like, I was definitely someone who was like, I don't want to think about college at all. College doesn't exist. I don't want to think about that. But yeah, I kept writing, and I think my magnum opus was probably a piece that I still think is a really neat piece, that was called Months of the Year. And so you'll see that if you go on this channel. There are 12 pieces, because there are 12 months. And what I did is every month I wrote a piece, and it was for clarinet quartet, because that was my thing. I was a clarinet quartet person. And I wrote the quartet and I recorded it myself on Audacity. And then I made a video, and I found a stock image that looked like the month, and I put a video. And the idea was that by the end of the year, then I would have a full set of pieces, full 12 pieces. I didn't start in January. I actually started in August of 2021. And then I finished in July of 2022. And then it was like, yay, it's done. And so that's actually a great way for any people out there who are like, oh, how do I write a longer piece? Just write a small piece for a whole year and then add it up at the end. That's how I figured it out. But that was kind of like, oh, that's a cool piece, right? Finished it. I still think it's really good. Maybe I should go back and like touch it up and re-record it. That'd be neat. At this point, this was not something that I was like talking about with people, right? I didn't really tell my parents I was composing, because I found it kind of like embarrassing. It was like, I don't know, it just felt kind of embarrassing to talk about. I don't know why. Another big moment was when I wrote a tango piece. One thing that's very common with me is like, basically I'll get really into a piece of music, and then I'll just want to like imitate it. And so that year, my junior year, the marching band field show was a tango, and it was based off of Danzón No. 2 by Marquez, which is a great piece. And tango was just in my mind. The tango Lego bricks were floating in my mind, and they were wanting to build together into something new, and so they did. And so I wrote a piece called Tango in B minor. It's in the key of B minor, and it's a tango, and it was written for like a 8 or 9 piece like chamber group with winds and like a cello and claves and stuff, and it was fun. And so at my high school, I had that played at we have every semester we had like little chamber group concerts, and so that was my first experience kind of like writing something and having people play it. Also at that concert, I wrote a Mario Kart medley for piano, bassoon, and clarinet. Piano, bassoon, clarinet. And I did that with 2 of my friends, and that was a lot of fun. So that was an arrangement of like a bunch of different Mario Kart tunes, and it was like, it like flowed nicely into the next one. That's another one I should kind of touch back up on, but it's a weird instrumentation. The instrumentation is because those were the instruments that I had available to me. And I just done just a smattering of things, here and there. Never thought too much about it. And then the time came for me to think about college. And I'm going to make sure the video is still recording. Yeah. Time came to think about college. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to think about college. I put it off for as long as I could. All throughout junior year, it was just not something I ever thought about. Didn't want to think about it. Everybody was like, have you started researching your colleges? And I was like, no, I just didn't want, just not something I thought about. That changed basically the latest possible that I could put it off. September, I think August, September of my senior year is when I started researching schools. And being a music major was never something I aspired to be. It was never something that I wanted from a young age or anything. When I started going to college, applying to college, I was like, it's something, I kind of like science. Several years ago, I had this like periodic table of the elements phase. And so I collected a bunch of elements, and I still have that collection, and that's kind of a thing. So, I liked science, and I guess math is okay, but I didn't really do any of the hard math classes. Maybe I could do something boring like business and, basically be nothing. And I could do marketing. And as we all know, marketing is just deception. You're just majoring in deceiving other people so they can give you money. So might as well just become a magician at that point. And then I had this, this person who was teaching me bassoon, who I respect a lot. He was like, you should do music. So basically, that's a whole long story. But I basically was like, yeah, I'll do music. Because music was something that everybody told me I was really good at. And I did well in it. And I liked it. That's obviously I liked it. That's why I kept doing it, right? So I applied to be a music major. And I knew, part of me knew was like, I can't do performance. Like, I can't, bassoon's doing well, clarinet's going well, but I can't major in performance. I just don't have that in me. I can't do practicing. I hate practicing. I can't do practicing. And I was like, wait, I've been writing music for the last couple years. Why don't I be a composition major, right? And so I became a composition major, and that was kind of, well, okay, composition major. And this is when things started to kind of change. Not in terms of what was happening to me in my life, but in terms of just how I felt about things. And it becomes very difficult to explain because I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. But basically, I applied to places. I applied to NYU. I applied to Berklee College of Music, CSUN, Long Beach, UCLA, somewhere else, USC, something. And I got into the only place that rejected me was UCLA. I did interviews with NYU. That was fun. By the way, NYU is in Eastern time. In case you schedule an interview with them, keep in mind that you have to change the time. But yeah, so I did auditions. I went to go audition at CSUN with Larry Stofel. I went to Long Beach. Yeah, and I was doing on bassoon, right? So I was like, you have to be a music student. You have to audition on bassoon. You don't have to audition on bassoon. You have to do a music audition. Like, you have to prove that you know what I'm talking about. So I did my bassoon audition because it made me look impressive, right? Because who plays bassoon these days? Nobody. Everybody plays clarinet. Everybody and their mother plays the clarinet, but nobody plays bassoon. It makes me special. So I did the thing that made me special, and guess what? It made me special, and I got in. And let's see. For CSUN, I submitted a couple of pieces to Dr. Marinescu, who is the composition guy. It was a very short chat. Long Beach didn't want any composition stuff. They were just like, yeah, we trust you. I was like, okay. NYU, it was more of a thing. Like, I submitted a lot of materials for that, and then I had to interview with them, where I was explaining the stuff I was explaining earlier about the 12 months of the year piece, and they were like, "Oh, I love it. You're so creative. You're so smart and creative, and we love you." And then they accepted me, and then they gave me no financial aid, so I didn't go. And also, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to New York. Why would I do that? It's a miserable place, which I would be soon to find out when I went there in a band trip in March of 2023. It's filled with rats, and it's very gray and sad, and everybody there is very sad. That's all I remember from New York. Could be biased. Um, and so through a variety of twists and turns in terms of deciding where I wanted to go, ended up going to CSUN. Now I want to say I have no regrets going to CSUN at all. If I know you from CSUN, like basically everybody who I've met from CSUN is awesome in terms of faculty and students. I'm speaking specifically with like music people because anybody else that I've met at CSUN with like GE classes, no, it's like you don't exist. It's like okay, it's a commuter school. Everybody just wants to go home. But at music, people actually care. So that's nice. So no complaints with that. I'm not. This is not like a I hate everybody thing. Um, but I decided to go to CSUN, and it's cheap. Doesn't cost a lot of money, which is good. Because money is finite. So I do my applications, I do my commitments, all that senior year hullabaloo. You're a senior, we're gonna miss you. And then, summer of fun, summer of friends, summer of the first Backyard 5 show. That's a fun thing. And this is 2023. So there's some issues happening. Basically, I stopped writing music. Now, I don't remember what actually the last thing that I went like if it actually stopped at a certain time. And it wasn't like a hard cutoff. But I kind of stopped writing music for a while. So this is kind of where I am now. And starting at around 2023, but consistently throughout 2024 and 2025. Basically, anytime I try and write something, I just I get filled with this unexplainable sense of like dread, I guess. Like who cares? This doesn't matter. This sucks. I don't know how to write music. So why am I like? What is the point of any of this garbage, nonsense crap? Also, part of me is thinks that the entirety of music academia is really cringe. Just okay, I could write a stupid solo piece for cello. I could write a chamber thing for cello and two flutes and a water bottle, and there'll be 4 people at the concert and they'll clap just be like, oh, you're so creative. But who cares? This doesn't affect anybody in the real world. This is all stupid elitist nonsense garbage, and that's still kind of how I feel, because it's just true, and this is not a knock on anyone, but I feel like a lot of what we do is kind of cringe. Where am I going with this? So this is when I want to talk about the dread of writing music, which is kind of the title of this video probably. And I'm going to just open my MuseScore to refresh my memory. I use MuseScore, by the way. Shout out to the Muse gang. I'm opening MuseScore right now. So let me go kind of in my past pieces. Yeah. So it's just unfinished thing after unfinished thing after unfinished thing after unfinished thing. Because here's the thing, I am a wellspring of ideas. People are like, oh, I don't have any ideas. I have infinite ideas basically. The problem is that when I start writing it, it's just I just feel terrible for some reason. Yeah, so we've got a piece for recorders that never went anywhere. A piece on 11/8 I want to do, never went anywhere. A march that never went anywhere. A waltz, a fanfare piece for bassoons. Another march. a clarinet quartet. Actually sounded pretty nice. There's some good stuff in here. A clarinet quartet arrangement of the finale from Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony. That's from 2 years ago. Wow. Yeah, I never went anywhere for that. A clarinet and bass clarinet duet that I actually finished, but whatever, right? Yeah, there's some good things, but it's an arrangement from the Rogue Board theme from Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door for bassoon duet. That's a fun one. Yeah, just random, mostly just like random stuff that I was excited about, and then I started writing it, and I was like, "This is stupid," and then I stopped, writing it. Which is not the most fun thing for me, but and so now we come to college. Okay, so I have major doubts about this program that I'm in, and the main reason is because I have not done any composing. Now, I recognize that that's my fault, okay? Because I could start writing music if I wanted. I do sometimes, and sometimes I finish stuff. Let me even say, people with like bipolar disorder have like manic episodes. I feel like I had a composer manic episode like in the middle of October 2025, where like just randomly I was just like, wait, I can write music. And then I wrote like 3 pieces and finished 3 pieces. Like just in the span of a week, 2 band pieces and 1 orchestra thing. And they're all great. Like I'm happy with them. I think they went well. Yeah, just kind of like a random burst of being able to write music. And then, yeah, that was kind of it for that. So here's the thing. In my major, I'm a composition major at CSUN, and I haven't done anything. I spent the first year doing GEs. Okay, whatever. Yeah, college moment. Second year, okay, now I'm doing harmony class, musicianship class, melodic dictation, music history, all this stuff. I'm doing a lot of ensembles. I'm in the Wind Ensemble Orchestra. It's a lot of fun. I'm liking doing that. And then second semester of the second year, it's like, okay, yeah, more of the same. Third year, first semester, finally beginning composition. I had to wait until 2025 to do it, but here we are, beginning composition. And again, no shade to my professor, no shade to anybody else in the class. You guys are awesome. But the class, I thought I was going to get in that beginning comp class and I was going to be writing a piece every week. Like this piece, we're writing a cello and piano piece in serialist style. Here's what serialism is. Study it, write a piece. We're presenting it next Monday. Go. You have 1 week. And then every week, and then that's like 15 weeks, 15 pieces. Like I'm churning out music. Because at this point, it's like, you got to sell it to me. It's like I want to write, I want to write music more than I do. I used to be able to write music. Something changed. Now I can't anymore. So, and I could just start writing stuff. That's fine. Yeah, on my own time. But like, I'm in college. Like, I want to start actually writing music. Like, make me. Like, I know it feels kind of childish to like say that, but that's how I feel. In that class, in that beginning comp class, we wrote 3 pieces. 3 entire pieces. The first one was rhythm focused. It was a piece it was just like, and just like rhythm. And then the other one was more like for string, like idiomatic string writing, more melodic piece. It sounded kind of cool, but like, again, like who cares? Like no one's gonna want to listen to that. No shade. Again, I did write some cool stuff in that class. And then the final was a string quartet that was 2 minutes, and we were going to get it recorded by a professional group, which is cool. But they were, and I'm pretty happy with the string quartet. I would have made it longer. Like, I don't know, I would have done more. And then the people who recorded it, like, they were good, but there just wasn't enough time. And yeah, I don't know if I'm super happy with how that went. But anyway, 3 pieces. 3 3 entire pieces. I wrote maybe cumulatively 8 minutes worth of music in that class. And it's like, and that was it in terms of music that year. I did a lot more GEs that semester. And it's like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Right? Oh god, this is long. Why am I not doing anything? Like, I feel like the way that I am being treated, just the vibe that I get from my professors and everything, the way that I'm being treated in this school is that I already know that I'm a composer. I already know that I want to do this. And I have a workflow and I have everything nailed down to the T, right? And I'm just here to supplement that, to learn my harmony, to learn my counterpoint, to learn all that, to learn my do, re, mi, fa, so, right? And it's like I'm not sure. Like, what does it mean to be a professional composer? Like, is that even possible? It's hard. No one talks about that. Everybody's like, yeah, you're a composer. Everybody just like assumes that I'm already doing it. I come to this advanced comp class that I have this semester, and it's the beginning of the semester. Anything can happen, but it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna present a piece that you've been working on, and it's like, why are you assuming that I've written something? Like, I do have stuff I could show, but it's like, and again, maybe I'm childish. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe if I really liked writing, I would have taken matters into my own hands and actually written music. And God, I've tried. God, I have tried. I tell myself, God, I'm a composer. I need to write music. I need to actually write music. And I sit there at my laptop, and I'm just like, I need to put something on the page. And it's like this feeling of just dread. It's a terrible feeling that I can't explain. I just have to stop. And those pieces that I talked about last October that I wrote, it felt like I was just inches away from that happening. And my ability to write them was more of a fluke, more of just keeping the anxiety at bay so I could finish it. That's what it felt. It didn't feel like a breakthrough. It just felt like I got lucky. So that's a cynical way of looking at it. But I have... What are my other classes? Like advanced... It's just like... I have 1 year left. 1 year... I mean, this semester. And then another year. And then I get to do lessons. In my last year, I get to do lessons. And it's like... I want to do this. And nobody's helping me. It's like... Maybe I should help myself, right? I need to help myself. It's my job to do that. I'm being childish and whatever. But it's like, I am not ever being put in situations where I'm asked to write music. It never happens. I told you there were those 3 times in that class. But even this advanced composition class, there's no assignments. Like, the assignments are write something about this. Like, analyze this, and then be attentive when your fellow students are presenting their work. There's no it's like, what do you expect me to be doing? Right? Like, and again, maybe I'm totally in the wrong here. Let me know. But I feel like I've been in college for 3 years and I haven't done anything. And I have all these ideas, and I'm just racking my brain trying to figure out ways that I can make my ideas real and make my ideas happen without the call of the void happening in my brain. And I'm a huge overthinker, and I'm a huge overtalker, and I've said this, and I've talked way too long about this. So if you're listening to this, God bless you. Seriously. But it's like, all of this has been on my own, right? All of this. All of it. Been completely on my own. All of these things I feel like would have been easier if from the beginning I had a teacher, right? It's normal for you to change your major in school. It's normal. It is normal for you to say, to get to school and say, you know what, I'm not feeling this, right? You know, you give it some time. You allow yourself to get up in the classes, right? But it's like, I'm not feeling this. But I have not been given that chance because everybody just kind of assumes that I'm already writing music on my own time. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so I just have this feeling of like, okay, I'm more than halfway done with my degree. I presumably have a recital a year from now. I'm gonna graduate and get my composition degree. You know, anything can happen in the next few semesters, right? Anything can change. Things might rapidly pick up the pace. I might have all my questions answered. But right now, I just feel like nothing has happened to me yet in college. And maybe I'm wrong about what college is supposed to be. But the thing is that if I wanted to switch away from being a, but that's the thing. I don't even know if I want to do this. Like in my mind, it would be amazing if I had an idea for a Mahler or Shostakovich style symphony and I could like really just write it and feel good about getting it down. Like I was never attracted to the art of writing the music. It's like I was never like it was never the process that interested me. It was always the product. It was like there's this music that I play in my ensembles, in my groups, and I really like it and I grow really attached to it. And I want to do something just like that. And that's what it was. It wasn't like, oh, I want to be like, the great composers, right? And so I feel like I tell people at school, yeah, I'm a comp major. And in the back of my head, it's like, yeah, you don't write anything. Like, when you say that, people assume that you write music, but it's like you don't. So basically, I think I'm going to wrap this up soon. The dread of writing music is interesting because I feel like it shouldn't exist, and it used to not exist. When I was 14, 15, 16 years old, it didn't exist. It wasn't there. I was able to write music. I didn't really ever finish anything that much. And most of the stuff I finished, you'll see on this YouTube channel. There's some good stuff on there. That Book of Boba Fett thing with my recorders, that was a good one. And then there's like other things like the Backyard 5 shows that I do with friends. Those are fun. You can watch that one. That is the most recent video. I don't know what's wrong with me. I guess I just have to put my pedal to the metal and say, you're running out of time. I don't know how much longer I can be living in the dark like this. I just need to tomorrow, there's nothing on the calendar. I'm going to go to the library with my laptop and I'm going to write something. And I'm not going to let myself get out of the chair until I've done a certain amount. Because I don't really even see what other options I have. I don't have a teacher. I don't have classes that are encouraging me to write music. I mean, they're encouraging me to write music. They're just not telling me what I should be doing or anything. If it's like the reason I don't know, I never wanted to go to college. I never wanted to be a music major. But the world told me that I could succeed in it. And so now I'm like, okay, world, show me that I can succeed in it. I guess I'm just frustrated because I do feel like I'm running out of time, and I recognize that I'm literally 20 years old, and there's there's plenty of time. College is just college. Your undergrad is just your undergrad. But I don't feel like I'm getting the support that I desire, and it feels weird to ask for it because it feels so obvious to me. And it feels weird to go up to a faculty member and say, just tell me, just like tell me to do, like, just sit next to me as I write this music and watch as I start to panic because I start to feel terrible. And once I start to feel like that, like, look me in the eyes and like grab my shoulders and force me to keep going. Because I can't do this on my own. Like, I can't. I don't know. I'm just filled with question marks right now. So, if you made it to the end of this here video, thank you for hearing me out. If you want to reach out to me, you can on Instagram if you know me in real life. If not, comment. That's all I have to say about this. Anything can happen. In the meantime, I'm going to keep playing my instruments, trying to follow inspiration when it comes to me, whenever possible. And I guess wait. I'll keep waiting. All right, that's it. Thank you.